This is Daf Yomi Yerushalmi Kilayim. In the article Oz Bahad edition with Mamish on the top of Yudal from Aleph, right at the top of Yudal from Aleph, Latninan. In the Vilna, we are on the bottom of the unmarked Vav Hamid Aleph, page 11, and it is Latninan, the second to last line. And there are many pshatim in this. The article brings down, in fact, two. One is from the Rav Fulda, and one from the stipend of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. And we're going to go do with the shot of the stipend of Yaakov and Reb Chaim Kanievsky, because in the Chilufim there's also biurim on the page. So we're going back here on the question, our Mishnah, about Zroim, which got mixed in with other Zroim. And obviously you have a grain, you plant a certain amount in a base saw, and the 1/24 of that is a significant amount, and therefore it makes sense that is shiur for Kilayim. But the problem is that we have another Mishnah later on, which says, it says also that with Ziyun Gina, Shina, and Cholim, these are seeds which are not eaten. These are ornamental, evidently. And also the shiur is 1/24th, and what you plant in the base saw. So we learned that the amount of Ziyun Gina, Shina, and Cholim which you plant in a kav or a chatzi kav, in a base saw, is a kav or even a kav and a half, a kav, a chatzi kav. So that's a very small amount. Evidently, you need much more grain, wheat seed, in order to plant that area. Then you need ornamental seeds. So if that's the case, I want to ask, what is the significance of 1/24th of chatzi kav? I think I read this wrong line before. I said kav a chatzi kav. It's a kav and a half. No, it means either a kav or a half of a kav. So it's obviously a very small amount. So in 1/24th, a half a kav. What is the significance of that amount? That it should make something kilayim. So Kamar, so Kamar says, "Akan choshul marasayin mikam be'ech lo choshul marasayin." All of kilayim is basically marasayin. It's all what looks bad. And Chazal determined that what looks bad is 1/24th. In other words, 1/24th of a field, even if it's a very small amount, is nicker in the field proportionally as something which is inappropriate to be there, and therefore kilayim. So therefore, we don't. Listener contacted me and noted that the rest of the original shiur cut out. The audio cut out at this point. So this is a re-recording of the end of Kilayim Yudalef, and let's go on. You might. It says in the Mishnah, you might. You have to diminish the proportion, and you go one of two ways. Based on might, how do you diminish the proportion? Opochis min a rova. You make it less than a rova. In other words, make it 1/25th by taking out some of the foreign seed. On most of us are, I make it 1/25th by adding on to the intended seed. Okay, so it says Gemara, what do you mean? Lochen Amar, the Rash takes out the words Rabbi Yechanan. Lochen Amar, because you'll see them, because momentarily become obvious. Lochen Amar Rabbi Avo b'Shem Rabbi Yechanan. Koisun she'ribalem shogeg muter ma'izid also. You're not allowed to do it. You can't battle an isser, and here being a battle isser chatchila, deliberately being a battle isser. So it says one fascinating answer. Tama marbe levatel isser Torah, bro. Hochat marbe levatel mitnei marasayin. There, you're being the pashup shot in the Gemara is that you're there in the case which Chazal asur and battle isser chila. It's battle isser doraisa, but the battle isser rabbanon because of marasayin, that's different. It's okay. But that doesn't seem to be the actual pshat here, because we know that Kilayim, the entire Daraisa, is based on the Marasayim. So therefore, how do we explain this? So Reb Chaim brings down the first one shot with the conventional shot, which I just said and had found um, um, questionable. It was but and then he brings down that as follows: that some say that Kilayim, since the Isra is a taroives, and the taroives has to be something which is recognizable by the maris ayin, by the eye. That's a Torah aser. After you are marbe, and either by adding on to the heter or taking away from the Isra, there's no longer nikar, and there's no it's a deraisa. In other words, you were mevato the Isra. You eliminated it. Um, so Ein the Isser is only where the Isser is still there, you just nullified it. But here, in the case of Kilayim, where you remove the Marasayan, there's no longer any Isser involved. Okay, so it's not Isser being batel, it's the removal of the actual Isser, which is a beautiful shot. Okay, says more further. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yavor. Yossi says you have to once you start removing the rova, you have to remove the entire rova. It's interesting. I'm not sure Rabbi Yossi would say if you're about to listen by being marba the heter. You wouldn't say yavur. Right? It's only in the case where you started taking away from the isser that you have to take away the entire isser. Okay. Once you start taking out from the rova, you have to take out the entire rova. Now, Rabbi Yossi also concedes that if there was less than a rova mishar rishona, and it's also if the portion was 1/25th, then you don't have to remove any of it. It's only once you start removing it, then we make you remove all of the forbidden seed. And as he said, now, hechavida, there's a significant ramification to that. What's the story? Hayasham arova echad mishnei minim. There was a rova, which means that more than 1/24th of foreign seed. But it was made up of two foreign seeds, not one foreign seed. So in that case, Boramin Echad Vidayo, or Tzarchli was Kula. What is the story? In that case, you have to just remove one min, and then you're under 1/24th and you're fine. Then you borer the entire min, so that your Yotzer B'Yotz's issue. Or Tzarchli was Kula, or you have to remove you have to, once you start even with one min, you have to finish with both minim. Because once you start it, Yover means to be borer the entire mixture, the entire amount of foreign seed, whether it is from one type or not. And the Gemara does not resolve this. Okay, because it leaves it questionable. Okay, the Gemara then goes to speak about Rishimon. Rishimon Omer Lo Mrula Min Echad. Shnei Minim Lo. Rishimon said that only if it's one min does it aser 1/24th. Two minim don't join together to aser in 1/24th. So it seems that even the Gemara feels that this is okay, but you can't take this too far. He says, ad hechon. How much can you have this smorgasbord of foreign seeds and it still be okay, even if it's more than 1/24th? At some point, it doesn't seem to be rational to just say, okay, well, since a bunch of foreign seeds, we don't care. And the one says, ad hechon aruba shel saw. You're right. You have up to the majority of the saw. Let's say you hit the majority of the saw, then no good. But chazav hosif, again, since you're not like we said before, not being levato the iser, you're eliminating the iser. If you add it on mutter seed, just like before, work for Rabbi Yossi, work for Rabbi Shimon as well, even to add on to make it miuta shel saw. Okay, so just like Rabbi Shimon holds that two minim don't join together, chumrah to aser. Kenu Omer, so to say here, ain't shnei minim mitzarfin leheter. Two minim will not join to be matir either. Hechaveda, what are we talking about? There are 22.5 revoim of wheat, v'chatzi rova shel sarim, and half a rova 0.5 of barley, sorry. So now we have 23 altogether. And then less than rova of adashim fell in beans. So what do we say here? If you take the beans vis-a-vis the wheat, so then there's a proportion more than 1/24th. If you take, do we say that the barley joins with the wheat in order to cancel the the beans, or not? So the what it says, no, I feel okay ain't stay meaning with starfing leheter. Two meaning don't join up to be matir. So they don't join up to be aser. They don't to go over 1/24th. But if there's 1/24th of a foreign min, so then two meaning don't join together to be matir either. Okay, so the Gemara goes on. It says, "B'amed v'armun chulei b'tani loch gon shloshes karmen v'arba kabin." So in our Mishnah, it said that the end of very end of the Mishnah, it was a pishton b'tvuah mitzvahs echad mesim v'arba b'noifel lebeisah. So that means that there's by pishton there's a different proportion. A rova doesn't answer. A rova of pishton doesn't answer a saw of chitim. It goes by how much pishton you would need to plant 1/24th of the field. And it happens here that you need a lot of zera pishton to plant relative to wheat. And therefore, the shiur by pishton is 3 times. It's 3 revoim in order to answer chitim. Not one rova. So says the Gemara, "B'med dvarim muchli b'tani lo kol shloshes karmim arba kabin." That it's all the minim. It's normally enough to take 3 kav to plant a subbase saw, and that's maximum 3 or 4 kabin. So that in that case, we. And in those cases, we require you go by 1/24th of relative proportion to the grain. Right? That's by most cases. A kabayin, but it only takes 2 kav to plant the field. So then we don't go by the 24 rova the base no, we go by a rova of the amount of seeds it takes to plant the base saw. So therefore, it comes out as significant chumrah. A species only require 2 kav to plant a base saw. They're like zirone gina, where you only need a few to plant. And definitely zirone gina, you spread out of the ornamental seeds. You spread them out a lot. So you need fewer seeds. And the shiur is 1/24th of that which you would use to plant. Not 1/24th of the grain, but 1/24th of the amount of zirone gina or the amount of the kabayim, which would be the amount that you plant in the field. So normally it's rova kav, here at 1/24th of 2 kav would be 8. That's 8 rovas and 2 kav, so a third of that, right? So a third of a rova, which means 1/12 would already aser. Be'emes. When the Mishnah had said be'emes amru, so I'm sorry, pishtan was more the other direction. You need more in order to answer. But this is going back actually and be'emes amru the line before Rosh Hashanah. You need much less to answer. So that wasn't going to pishtan. That's coming up. This is going up. This is going on the zirone gina. So this is like pishtan. You need more to answer. So the zirone gina you need less to answer. Anytime we learn it says be'emes means halakha moshe Sinai. Now it doesn't necessarily mean an actual halakha moshe Sinai, but sometimes means it's as firm as halakha moshe Sinai, but normally it does mean an actual halakha moshe Sinai. Okay, Tanya, we learned kigon kav v'chatzi kav. So we have another brayso which seems to contradict the brayso above. It says that the kav and chatzi kav, zirone gina, which are planted, you only need a kav or half a kav to plant the base saw. So then there you go by 1/24th of that amount. Hakabayim barova. It sounds like if you have 2 kav, you go after the rova of the grain. Hachamar kabayim barova. Hachamar kabayim echad missing marble. You said kabayim is the shiur by kabayim is the standard rova, and here you say kabayim is is 1/24th. And the way the the way the Chaim learns it is that there's a machlekes here between and a stira contradiction, and that we don't have the Gemara never resolves the contradiction. The Gemara doesn't. The Gemara learns differently. It says Perish enakushya elumeisik milsei. It's not a question. It's a conclusion. Hachamar Perish gabe tvua. By grain, imayu dakim kokach if they you need far less of them, the seeds. I'm not sure why the thin seeds require less, but in any event, I mean that it's enough for that. You don't need 3 or 4 kav as usual. 2 kav is enough. Then we go after the not after rova beisa, but 1/24th of whatever it takes to plant that field, which is a lot less. The gabi zornik yina, if by that's by grain. But by ornamental seeds, they come in and talk the base saw. If you require 2 kav base saw, so it's more than the kav or chatzi kav we talked about a moment ago. And there, the shiur is going to be a rova. So the shiur that depends by grain. 2 kav is considered to be that to be machmir, and go according to the proportion of 1/24th of the 2 kav. By zonagina, the same amount. By 2 kav, you can go by the rova, the base saw relative to the grain. So I don't know exactly what I don't know at all what the difference is, but it says there evidently zonagina. If this all marasayin, so therefore zonagina when you have 2 kav. It's not as severe in the way it looks as when you have a different type of grain in 2 kav, which only takes 2 kav to plant the field. Something has to be along those lines. And that's the end of Alpha Base.